Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And we have a great article here from Eli Blumenthal over at CNET. I'll leave a link to it in the description so you guys could check it out. Yes, this is an older article. I will point that out right away. So, T-Mobile is a very, very busy company at this point in time. And I want to point that out, right? They closed the Mint Mobile acquisition that got approved, and they closed that. It's now going through its integration phases, whatever they got to integrate. Nothing network related, right? No integration on the network. I want to be clear: T-Mobile did not gain any spectrum or tower assets off of the Mint Mobile deal. It's just pure customer acquisition, and then everything else that Mint Mobile operates, it's all digital based, direct to customer or direct to consumer. So they closed that deal, right? That was a purchase. That's where that they spent money on that. It was like I think 1.3 billion. So that was one of the first ones that initiated everything. They've been busy on the fiber side as well. Not 100% owning and buying these JV companies, but they've been going in at about a 50% stake. They announced an official one with Lumos, and now there's a rumor, right? We're still waiting for that to become public. Like I said, that will become public, but they have another 50% stake waiting to be announced with the Metronet deal that you guys have seen the videos on. In all of that, right? In all of that, with what's going on, what else T-Mobile is doing, I don't want you guys to forget they're still in the middle of this whole U.S. Cellular acquisition, right? So that's ongoing as well. So now they're waiting for the Lumos purchase to be approved, while also now getting. I heard the Metronet deal was supposed to be announced last week, but I think they're going to wait to announce it until right before their earnings, is what I'm thinking now. They have to announce this before the earnings, I feel. So that way, shareholders, analysts, they can ask questions and everything else. But, while all of that is being reviewed and going on, this deal that you're seeing on screen is also still being reviewed. So like I said, T-Mobile has been very, very busy putting their money to work, right? In a business world, and not just in business, this can be used for regular life. I mean, depending on what you spend your money on, you can make smart purchases or you can make dumb purchases, right? And T-Mobile having more money now, because they clearly do, they're having to spend their money strategically. But nobody could have ever thought, at least I didn't think, that they were going to spend it like this, back to back to back to back, the way that they are. But they seem to be very effective purchases for the company. Mint Mobile will be effective. It will give the T-Mobile insight on direct to consumer, better marketing strategies. I mean, all that good stuff. It will help the T-Mobile brand long term. The fiber play is a big one too. The fiber play is big because T-Mobile is now learning about fiber. They have 50% stake in these companies, but I think the bigger picture is, for those fiber purchases, yes, it'll bring in revenue. It'll help T-Mobile get some more wireless customers, all that good stuff. But that's more of the simple, basic stuff. I think the more bigger picture here is T-Mobile is learning about fiber. They're going to learn from this to one day, I would say the end goal should be owning and operating a fiber division at T-Mobile. I think that should be the ultimate end goal for the company. So they're learning through these acquisitions and partnerships, right? Even though it's only 50%, but they are going to learn the business side of fiber. And now, U.S. Cellular, that's going to be a big asset and a big help for the wireless side. 2,100 cell sites, new cell sites that are going to be in areas where T-Mobile never had any native coverage, more than likely. There's going to be some overlap where T-Mobile will probably claim additional densification in some of those areas, but in a large part of those areas, T-Mobile likely never operated or had any service. So they get stores from US Cellular, which they're going to convert to T-Mobile. So they've done this already. T-Mobile knows how to execute this very well. I'll be very honest. They did this at grand scale with the Sprint merger, so they know how to execute this. This is compared to what they did with Sprint and how quickly they did it and effectively and how they executed that. This is a piece of cake for T-Mobile. This merger is, I mean, not merger, this acquisition is a lot smaller. This is going to be a piece of cake for T-Mobile. They're going to integrate this so fast. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight, but it's going to be a lot quicker and faster versus what they did with Sprint, because Sprint was a much, much larger task to complete. But this is, I mean, this right here is, I would say, even smaller than what they did with Metro PCS, in my opinion. So they're going to put this to work very quickly. They're going to get the sites integrated. They likely have to do conversions again, like they did with the Sprint Keep sites. They will have US Cellular Keep sites, I'm assuming. It's probably going to be a very similar structure. They're going to put the additional spectrum assets in those counties and regions where they get the additional license. They're going to put those assets to use very, very quickly for its customers and the consumers. And then they're going to put their heads down and they're just going to compete. They're going to start marketing in areas that they've never done it before. They're going to start doing the hometown grants in more cities and small towns. They're going to go after this very, very quickly and effectively, because, again, it's a smart purchase. They're not out here purchasing 60, 70, $80 billion companies. This $4.4 billion is going to generate billions more versus what they spent. And that's how they view it. Like they said at these earnings calls, they tell you everything that they're going to do. If it's accretive, if it works for the shareholder, and we can make money in the process to further fund buybacks and dividends and everything else that we're doing, we are going to do it. And this was accretive. I'm sure as soon as they put this on paper, they analyzed it, reviewed it. It was accretive day one. So they're not hesitating. They have the money, they have the funds. Let's make it happen. And in the future, right, they're looking to grow service revenue margins and everything else. This will help accelerate any of that. You now have access to more customers that you didn't before. You now present them with FWA. You just closed Auction 108, which gives you more licenses with more bandwidth, very likely in these areas, plus all of the US Cellular spectrum. I mean, it's a win-win. And then you just execute and initiate the plan. I feel, again, I won't say any numbers, but it's going to come with a higher CapEx. It has to. They have to accelerate CapEx at least for a few years on this integration until it can come down. They got to accelerate and get that engine moving, and they got to do it quickly so they can be as effective as possible, efficiently. Of course, they got to do it efficiently, and then they compete against Verizon, AT&T, and whoever else is out there. So just wanted to make this video, kind of bringing this back to the forefront, because all these deals that are going on, you know, this could get lost, but it's still ongoing. I'm expecting this to close the first half of 2025. Yeah, this will be a quick thing. You know, the FCC approves, this closes, then T-Mobile puts their heads down and they get to work. They got to integrate cell sites. They got spectrum to deploy. And a lot of this, I'll be very honest, a lot of this is going to be software done remotely, because T-Mobile has radios already on sites that can support that spectrum. So if there's existing T-Mobile tower sites in these areas, I mean, they're going to get more AWS and all the other assets that they get from US Cellular very quickly. They're going to put this to use very, very fast. So all it's going to take really is a retune and some optimization, and it's going to be, you know, it's going to be good for the end consumer. They're going to take advantage, and for the US Cellular consumer as well. I know some are going to perceive this as a negative, but T-Mobile already stated you can keep your US Cellular plan as is, and then you're no longer dependent on roaming on who knows who outside of US Cellular. Now you're just going to be straight T-Mobile, and it should lead to a better experience. So we will hear more about this early fall, right? T-Mobile really hasn't sold it yet. They told the market, and of course there is an official announcement, as you see here. They told the market we're going to do this, but they haven't really presented and they haven't really sold it on how they're going to do this, like they did with the Sprint merger, right? 10,000 sites, this is what we're going to do. This is how quickly we're going to do it. They haven't done that yet, but we will get that information in the early fall on how quickly, how fast, how vastly this is going to improve the network. We're going to hear all that in the early fall. And then we move on, right? We got to get this through, get it approved, and then T-Mobile goes and they execute, and then it should be an even bigger and better network as the end result. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe if you're new. Follow my social media outlets. This is Tyrone with Tech Life, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.